Let me tell you, the world could sure use a little more generosity these days. It seems like everywhere you turn, people are asking, "What can you do for me?" But I remember something my daddy used to say when I was just a boy working on the farm. He'd look me in the eye and say, "Son, the real question in life isn't what people can do for you. It's what you can do for them." Now, that stuck with me. You know, there's a verse in the Bible that speaks to the heart of this. Over in Acts 20:35, it says, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." Now, that ain't just a good sentiment. It's a way of living that can change your heart. When we stop focusing on what we're gonna get out of life and start asking, "What can I do for you?" we're reflecting the heart of God Himself. When I was a young man, I remember a neighbor of ours who didn't have much. Now, we didn't have much either, but my daddy always made sure to give him a hand when he could, whether it was lending a tool, helping plow their field, or just listening when they needed to talk. Daddy knew what it meant to live generously. He didn't wait to be asked, he just did. That kind of generosity leaves a mark on folks. And you know, in Galatians 6:9 it says, "And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not." It's easy to get tired, to think, "Why should I keep giving when it feels like no one notices or cares?" But I tell you, God sees every act of kindness, every time you put someone else's needs above your own. You may not see the fruit right away, but it's coming. I reckon it ain't just about money or things either. Sometimes folks just need your time, your ears to listen, or your hands to help. Generosity comes in many forms, but it always starts with a heart willing to serve. I can tell you, there've been many times in my life when I felt like I didn't have anything to give. But God, in His wisdom, would remind me that generosity isn't just about what's in your wallet. It's about what's in your heart. And that's where the real blessings are. Matthew 6:21 says, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Now, if your treasure's wrapped up in the things of this world, money, power, possessions, your heart's gonna be chained to them. But if your treasure's in heaven, where God's work is, then your heart's gonna be free to love, to give, to serve. And that's when you'll find real joy. So, I ask you today, what can you do for someone else? Maybe it's helping a neighbor. Maybe it's speaking a kind word. Maybe it's just taking time to pray for someone. God's given each of us talents and time, and it's up to us to use them wisely. When we live generously, we're not just blessing others, we're growing closer to God. And that, my friends, is the greatest reward of all. Now, as we wrap up, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what can I do for someone else today? It may seem small to you, but I promise, in God's eyes, it's big. So let's go out and live generously with hearts full of God's love. So just remember, your kindness can change the world, one small act at a time.